Hey everybody, it's Righteous Freed. We're here with another character build guide. Haven't done one in a long time, and we're going to start doing it with some of the newer heroes. Today, Obero, the Transforming Dragon. So Obero is a very unique character because his whole gimmick is to get rid of his soldiers, and he transforms into a mighty dragon. So, let's get into it. First, we'll look at his talent. An initiating battle, damage dealt increases by 5, 10, 15%, and then 20% at max rank. I believe it's 20%. Yep. Or 10, it's 10, 12, 15, and 20%, depending on star rank. At max rank, he gets 20%. If he has no soldiers, then the enemy soldiers' damage is reduced by a whole 90%. Now, he needs that to survive, since after transforming, he will lose them, and we'll get into that in just a moment. And then after taking action, he gains a shield, which blocks damage equal to 25% of his max HP. So every time he ends his turn, this shield refreshes. This does help him stay alive, and will be the difference between him dying and him just constantly staying alive to keep trading. Can't be dispelled. When he dies, he deals 0.25, 0.3, 0.4, or 0.5 at max rank AoE damage to the damage dealer, the person who killed him, and permanently increases the damage taken by 20%. That debuff can't be dispelled. So Obero here, if he's dying, he's trying to take you down with him. If he doesn't, then it makes it easier for his allies to kill him. Going to be pivotal part to him setting up plays, him being the hyper carry you need, because that's basically his role. It's like Jinx in League of Legends. You just keep farming endgame, you're able to just power through everything. So that's the basis of his talent. Gonna get into his factions first before getting into his classes or abilities. Origin of Light, Diehard, who is actually seeing some play, but probably won't bring faction buff on him. Juggler, and Freya will buff him. Now, if you want to play a dedicated Origins of Light box in PvP, then she would probably be your best bet. She is actually really nice, and she can protect him well. Juggler, you really don't want to bring that on him, but if your whole game is protecting Obero and keeping him strong, that could be an option as well. Diehard, yeah, he just doesn't have the room for that. Next is Yellow Legends. Sigmund's not played. His faction buff is pretty mediocre, but you could actually feasibly use it with him since he's going to be under 88% HP, so if you want, you can do that. And then Landius is perfect for him. Since dragons, after he transforms, he always turns into a dragon. Don't have any class advantage. He'll always have plus 15% extra damage, so Landius would be perfect for him. In Mythical Realm, we have Gizaroth. Really, he doesn't see play anymore. And Sage of the Trees. Sage of the Trees is actually really good because you can deal 12% increased range damage. Let's take a look at him real quick. Yeah, 12% extra range damage, so that would be great for him to help him deal more damage. Obero has a lot of damage up in his kit. So pairing well, Landius and Sage of the Trees, and Freya would be the best buffers. One from each of the factions. Typically, if you're going to play him, you do want to bring Landius, but he doesn't even need the faction buff with how much extra stats he's going to get and the amount of damage he's going to deal. But you're bringing him, you're going to be bringing Landius because you're going to be bringing a Gilles box. Alright. Now, moving on to his abilities, we have the main one, Elemental Amassing. This is his transformation. When you activate it, you can't attack, move, be displaced, or use any skills except for Dragon Morph. When you use this, it then becomes Dragon Morph. So, after taking action, you restore 20% of HP and you gain Dragon Valor. Now you can get up to 4 stacks of Dragon Valor. Mobility +1. Every time you gain it, you gain mobility +1, and your attack, defense, and magic defense go up by 7% for each stack. So you can get up to 28% for 4 stacks. This is his whole gimmick. 4 turns, and then he's God tier, and then he's trying to assassinate everybody. Just keeps killing and killing. So, every time you gain a stack, you get an extra effect. First stack is, after you do battle, restore HP equal to 25% of the damage dealt, so he has a built-in heal. Nice. Slightly weaker than some others that do 30%, but that's fine. Second stack gives him unit range +2. That way you can attack from 3 range, so gives him a lot of flexibility. Third stack is immunity. He's unaffected by debuffs. That is key, because then you don't have to worry about attack down, damage dealt down, him receiving more damage or anything like that. Fourth stack, damage increases by 15% and he ignores guard. Period. All the time. So, getting those stacks, keeping him protected, he'll be your hyper carry. Now, when you want him to transform into a dragon, teleport to any block within the area. It's a 3-range teleport, just like Juggler's Sacred Beast him. You lose your ability to gain stacks. So if you only have 3 and you jump, you cannot get the 4th. You sacrifice all of your soldiers. You gain 30% increased max HP, and you then restore 50% of your HP at that point. Now you sacrifice your soldiers, you cannot get your soldiers back. When you enter battle, your hero will attack twice in total to make up for not having soldiers. They're unable to receive healing, so yep, their sacrifice can't move it. And he has flying type movement, so he can go anywhere. He's a dragon, duh. Now, when you transform and do that, you act again, so you can teleport, move, and then attack. But it's with the Dragon Valor stacks. So if you have 3, you can move 3 blocks. The initial teleport, so you wouldn't be able to move 6 afterwards, for example, if you had 3 stacks. You can only move 3 for that, and then after that you can move your normal space. So what most people plan to do is they park him on a forest or a mountain or a fort. They protect them, get into the stacks they need. If they're playing against tank push, they're gonna hold out to the 4th stack. If they're playing against a more rushy box or people are trying to blitz, they'll probably just get to stack number 2 and not worry about the 3rd or the 4th, since if they don't have tanks, he's gonna be able to just kill everybody. Now, moving on to here, we have the main skill setup you're gonna have. His unique 2C. Straightforward 1.5 times damage. When you enter battle, if your attack is higher, enemy gains 2 debuffs. It's okay. Just a standard attack, 2 rounds cooldown. You'll be able to attack at 3 range once you get 2 stacks, so you'll be able to range attack. Now his 3C is where he really shines. For every 1 stack of Dragon Valor, the unit deals 25% increased damage when their talent triggers upon death. So at max rank, it's a 0.5 AoE. So if you have 4 stacks, that's 100%. So it'd be a 0.8 AoE, killing just about anybody after battle. Now, when attacking and entering battle, if the enemy has no soldiers, he deals 15% increased damage. So, at max rank, he has 20%. Now this is a passive, so this is anytime he attacks, including with his basic 2C. So that's 35%. If you have 4 stacks, that's 50% increased damage right there. Absolutely insane power. Now he attacks a single enemy, dealing 1.5 damage. After battle, he deals an additional 0.33 damage to enemies within 1 block. For every 1 stack, the area of this damage is increased by 1. So if you have 2 stacks, it's within 3. So you attack a dude, it's within 3 blocks of Obero, not the target. So you can just AoE everybody, kill them, and just keep on trucking. 5 rounds is a little long, but with this AoE, it's worth it, because that can also weaken everybody else for your other units to follow up. So this is going to be the basic setup here. Transform, AoE, follow up with 2C, and then just keep punching. Constantly healing, constantly having an extra shield and taking reduced damage from soldiers. Tank push players fear him greatly. If you play tank push, you do not want to fight him unless you have a way to snipe him. Now, on to his classes. So, he has Dragon class, and he has Lancer class. Right here, Battle God. Now, if we look at their stats with the help of Langrisser, Lancer has about 250 less HP. So slightly weaker there, but he has 26 more defense, but a bunch less magic defense. Dragon has higher HP and magic defense, but lower defense. Oh, Lancer does have slightly higher skill, but that won't be too big a factor. Their attack is the same. Now, the reason why some people choose Lancer over Dragon, we'll go right here and we're going to look at a few other people. If we look at Will underscore, you'll see, if you know him, you'll know him if you see him in Apex. Bulk God King plays as a Lancer. There's a couple different ways you can play. You can go carbon fiber armor, that way he has increased defense, survive those initial attacks, and then when he does get low, he gets extra attack. Will here, oh my goodness, lots of attack, lots of bulk, tons of extra defense. He has Fury of Tyr, get that extra defense there. Judge Talisman gives the extra defense. Little lacking on the HP, but if you ban out all the magic and you go Lancer, you can let through things like Helena and Elwyn. You can choose a Lancer. That way you don't have to protect them as much. If Elwyn just goes against a double Lancer, he's not going to get that one-hit kill on him. So that is one of the strategies with Obero. Let them have their calves. Don't ban them out. If those are the main DPS there and they don't have others, Obero doesn't have much to worry about, and it's going to be a clean sweep. Now, some people like myself and Hale, we go Dragon because we just want that extra HP. He has better heart bonds, which we will get to later, which protects him from taking damage and helps him deal even more damage. Still go a bit defensive. Njord's Feathered Crown. When battling against units with less HP, your defense and magic defense increase by 15%, so that could make him even tankier than he already is. The whole point is just get him to 4 stacks. That extra damage percent will make up for any attack loss he doesn't have from his equipment. Now, some people do use Last Rites instead of Azure Legend. This is because they just want him to survive an assassination. Azure Legend will help you the majority of the time, since you'll just be in the back row. He should be protected, or people will either be able to kill him no matter what, or they won't be able to reach him at all. This will help him after he transforms, since he'll never be at full HP 100% after he transforms. Let's see. Like, for example, Pero here. He runs Gaia's Armor, decreases magic damage taken. That way, if somebody does try With Steel Wing Warriors, if you park them on a forest, they have 20% damage reduction from the Soldier Training Tree. You can have that there. It also gives them increased defense when attacked. Other people like to run Tiamat in that case. Let's see. Doesn't have it. Whooper here runs Forbidden Defenders. Wants that a little bit of extra damage reduction. We won't look at that. See, people are having a hard time finding Tiamats. Well, that's me. Haha. Yeah, a lot of people will put Last Rites on here just so that he survives while he's charging up his power. Yeah, not a lot of people have Tiamat. It's actually pretty rare. But most people go Dragon just because of the Heart Bonds, which we'll get to in a little bit. So it's a balancing act. You can, if you want to let through calves, then you're going to go with Lancers, and then you can either pick a Lancer Troop, or if they have heavy magic, you can go Steel Wing Warriors. Now we're going to jump quickly into his Mastery Stones. For both Dragon and Lancer, you're going to go Attack, HP, and Defense. I threw in a little bit of magic defense just to be on the safe side. You might want to do defense for yourself and just ignore that. Just get this up as high as possible. I still need to get better enchants on my Obero. For Apex, HP, attack, defense, and then protection against crit and crit damage. Want to make sure that he has a chance of surviving. Once he transforms, it's all over. Now, getting into the soldiers, this is, even though he sacrifices them, it's really important in the first few turns. So, with Dragon, you're 99% of the time going to go Steel Wing Warrior. Want to protect against those range attacks. They gain increased defense and magic defense. If you park them on a, like I said, a forest or a mountain or a fort, from the talent tree they get 20% damage reduction while on defensive terrain. That could be the big difference between him living or dying. You're not going to go Dragon Trooper. They're just not for him since he gets rid of them. Not Holy Pegasus either because he needs them alive to get their ability. Now Griffin Knight only has the attack and defense increase when above 80%, so that's good for one attack. But Steel Wing Warriors give you magic defense, so that could be clutch as well. You can go Berserker. They do, when they are above 80% HP, they do take 20% reduced damage as well, just no matter what. That can be an option. There are not too many Lancer enemies out right now, though. You can go Amazon Champion or more than likely Heavy Centurion if you're going as a Lancer class. That way you can just let all the calves through. Most people typically are just going to go with Heavy Centurion and not Amazon Champion. Dark Centurion is bad. Don't use him. Don't put anything into it unless you've completed everything else in the soldier tree. But typically it's going to come down to Steel Wing Warrior, Heavy Centurion, or Berserkers. Berserkers don't see too much, but I can see them just because they don't need to be on terrain, but they don't have the best defense themselves. Like Steel Wing Warrior has more HP and magic defense, same defense, but 99% of the maps are going to have terrain, and being on terrain will just give you even more bulk. So when you're choosing classes, you have to see what you would like to do. Sacrifice that little bit of HP and those sweet heart bonds to always let through Lancers. I mean, always let through cavalry like Owen, Helena, the occasional Leon. Or just go with the tried and true. You can let through things like Lucretia. You can let through Kyura. It's all a matter of preference, but I prefer Dragon versus Heart Bonds. So I'm sticking with Stealing Warrior and the occasional Berserker. Getting into equipment. For Dragon, I recommend Ragnarok, Azure Legend, Nyords, and Winged Shin Guards. In the Winged Shin Guards, when attacked, you get 10% increased defense, keeping you alive. Nyords, when battling against units with less HP, your defense and magic defense increase by 15%. And Azure Legends, when your HP is above 50%, your defense increases by 10%. That's 35% increased defense and a little bit of magic defense. Now, Ragnarok is Ragnarok. This is just the best axe in the game currently. Deals fixed damage beforehand. If you do not have Ragnarok and you want to play Dragon, you could use Scarlet Reaper. Don't recommend it. You could use, for axes, Throne Guardian. That's always solid. Gives you extra HP for survivability. Could use Peacemaker. You never know if you're attacking an enemy Landius, you can negate their passives, making it so that his extra life is gone and one-shot him potentially. Or you can just go Hammers. You can go Bone Crusher. You can make sure you negate their chest piece, so if they have Last Rites, that's gone. If they have something like Forbidden Defenders or Aeolus, that's negated. Scarlet Reaper is okay if you have nothing else. The AoE afterwards will then proc and deal an extra fixed damage there, so that might be the difference as well. Oath of Justice is for defensive tanks like Ledin and Christiane, so you won't use it. You can also use Mimirs. After attacking and killing an enemy, or whenever an ally dies, dispel a debuff and restore HP, gain hero damage dealt plus 20%. So you can trade with one of your other heroes. After your hero dies, you can then send him in next with all the damage increase. Mjolnir is okay. You're not really going to be dispelling buffs with him. You don't care. You just want to kill. But will do if you have absolutely nothing else. But to summarize, I would go Ragnarok. If you don't have Ragnarok, I would go Bone Crusher for Dragon. If you are a Lancer, you can also go any of the axes. Let's see. Not here. He goes Scarlet Reaper because he wants to proc Dragon Veil of Fury. He goes magic as well. We'll get into that a little later. Let's see. Where's Pero goes Lancer, and he has Yggdrasil Branch, giving him an extra 10% defense. Also lets him ignore 15% of the enemy's defense. So you can definitely just make sure the enemy has no chance of physically assassinating you. Very strong, very powerful. That's another option you can do with Lancer. For Dragon chest pieces, I recommend Azure Legend because that will keep you safe even after transformation, because you'll be at less than 100% HP after sacrificing your soldiers. You can go Last Rites if you just want him to survive while he's being transformed, and that's all you care about. That is an option as well. Not many people have this because they just aura it, because it's pretty bad for most other heroes. If you don't have either of these, you can go Assault Suit. This is really common. You definitely should have come across this a few times. It's not that great for surviving, though. You could go Cloak of Defiance. And if they range attack you, you deal a little bit of damage. If they have Sorceress, that breaks Sorceress, so could be the difference between living and dying. Shivering Battlesuit at max rank reduces AoE damage by 20%. And you have a chance to reduce their attack and imp by 20%. It's basically the attack break right there. 50% chance. But not the best. It doesn't give you HP or any real defensive stats. Because most people are going to single target him. They're not going to waste their time AoE, especially in the current meta. So to summarize, for Dragon, Azure Legend priority. Last rites if you don't have this because you ord it and you just want them to survive the transformation time. For Lancers, we're just going to go back to my equipment bag and show you. I recommend Tiamat. Unit takes 20% less magic damage when in mixed units, so you can go Lancer. So if you're in Lancer class, you can then pick Berserker, you can pick Stealing Warrior. If they have magic, if you're on a map that doesn't have defense terrain, go Berserker. You'll take 40% less magic damage in combination with that, and you gain HP and magic defense, so that helps with survivability. As you saw, some others used Gaia armor. That is an option as well. As soon as we find it. Come on, where are you? I think you're down here. We'll go back up. Hold on. There we go. So if your HP is above 80%, magic damage taken is decreased by 10% at all times. Doesn't matter what your units are. And you get 15% increased defense. That's an option as well. Whenever you're attacked, so just so you have physical bulk. You do that extra 10% can mean the difference between Tiamat and Gaia armor saving you, but if you don't have Tiamat because it's fairly new and pretty rare for most people, Gaia armor is an uncommon one that you probably have come across. You might have kept a copy. That is an option. Other options do include Forbidden Defender's armor. Pretty sure most people have gotten 1 or 2 copies of those. Aeolus to block ranged. Blood Shield to block melee. Always great. Both give you HP and defense for extra bulk and tank. For helmets on dragons, like Njord's, this is going to be the best. This gives you 10% HP and a bunch of extra bulk. You're going to want to stack that HP as high as possible. This is going to be key to surviving. This is kind of rare. I'll say it's like really uncommon. You might have come across King's Crown. You can put this on as well. This can help buff your other units while you're waiting. You can do Flower Boon Bonnet. That way, after he ends his turn, he has even more recovery. That can be a good combination. But preferably Njord's, just so he has that extra bulk. And we'll go from here. If you're a Lancer, you can go Fury of Tyr for extra defense. You can go the Tried and True Anais helmet. 10% HP plus 5% defense. You cannot go wrong. While this is very common and a beginner's, it's also just one of the best helmets for any unit that can equip it. It's just solid all around. I would not use Ragel Helm. You don't care about counterattack. The extra 5% defense would definitely make the difference. Chief's Helmet, you can give this extra effect there. I feel like this is underrated, but it doesn't give you extra defense. And it prevents heal blocks, so hey, never know. But so for Lancer, I would go Anais. For Dragon, I would go Njord's. For accessory, I go Wing Shin Guards on Dragon. This gives him, as you can see, 10% extra defense. Gives him a bunch of attack as well. It's great for him. If you don't have one of these because you ordered it, Slayer's Emblem, Prisoner's Gear, those give attack and flat HP on there. Those are great. I would kind of stick away from Swordsmith Metal because you don't care about the silence, because getting to 3 stacks is one of your priorities, and fixed damage won't do too much to you, since the majority of you will not be using Last Rites. Judge Talisman gives him flat defense, and since there's going to be a lot of holy units, giving an extra 12% attack can be great as well when attacking. Overlord Badge is great. All stats 5%. While you're waiting, you get immunity to any of these debuffs and mobility reduction. That can... Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. Once you get 3 stacks, you have immunity, but that can help you if you don't wait for 3 stacks. Like I said, Slayer Emblem's good. Prisoner Gear is good. Same thing for Lancer. Just going to be the same thing. You don't need Twilight Star because you're going to use Ragnarok most likely. You don't care about breaking it. You're just going to punch, punch, punch. So, preferably go Wing Shin Guards. These are going to help you survive as well as deal that damage. For Enchants, preferably, I prefer Full Moon in either class for Lancer or Dragon, because when your HP is above 80%, all offensive and defensive stats plus 10%. That's even more defense and magic defense. And if you have enough HP after you transform, you will get this after that. Now you need to test. Get a friend, do a practice duel, just transform, do it at one stack and do it and just see. Because that is key. You need really high HP enchants, so I'm desperately trying to get this higher. Kind of want to get this higher, but if I can get this one higher, I'll be happy. There's some good HP enchants on here. Some other people will look at Will. He goes Magic. That way, because it gives you 10% extra skill damage and 5% if it's an extra 5% if it's AoE. So his AoE that he deals with his 3C will deal even more. Kale goes Full Moon. Let's see. Full Moon, Full Moon. Oh. He has Bone Crusher. Full Moon. And you can just see everybody. Like, you'll see some people go Breeze because they just want extra damage. That can help you as well, but his main goal is surviving. Yeah, that's me. I would not go Breeze. You don't need it. When you transform, you're going to have a minimum of 5 movement. You're going to wait. You need to wait 2 turns at a minimum. That way you get the 3 range. Now, some people do want more damage. They're just going to wait 2 turns, then jump in, go, just kill, and they're going to use him as a trade unit. That is okay if that's just what you're going to do every single time, and if you're just playing against a ton of tankless teams. But for the majority of the time, you want Full Moon, whether it is Lancer or Dragon. And last but not least, we're going to look at his Heart Bonds and why I prefer Dragon and a lot of other people prefer Dragons. When he's in a Battle God, that's Lancer. When the unit HP is less than 50%, damage taken decreases by 10%. That's going to be extremely hard unless you're playing against a bunch of AoE units, but even then, that is not that helpful. You constantly want him to be at full health, that way he can survive. When he's a Dragon, when attacking and entering battle, his damage taken is decreased by 10%. And that really helps him stay alive as well with all of his bulk. His attack one. when he's a Lancer, when HP is less than 50%, damage dealt is increased by 10%. Really, really hard to do that and to survive from a counterattack. When he's a Dragon, when attacked and entering battle, damage dealt increases by 10%. So somebody attacks you after you transform, you deal even more damage. So overall, his Dragon ones are just better. And that's why I prefer Dragon. But Lancer can be great if you want to let through all of the Cav units. Now, he can be teleported, but he can't be displaced. So, Archon of the Moon can't pull him, but you can use your T-Jess to teleport him. He can be... Leon's 3C can shuffle him, so that is also an issue. Autocrat's ability, where he attacks somebody and then sends them 3 blocks back, that's a teleport, so that'll move him. So you have to watch out for that. Alright. That is gonna wrap it up for Obero, the Transforming Dragon. Later, we will do a video on Azusa. Now, he is, like I said, more designed for tank push players. Wait that 4 turns out, counter other tank push players, and he is a terror. Wait 2 turns, and then transform against other tankless or people trying to rush you, and he will terrorize them. Alright, I do want to thank everybody for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. And until next time, Righteous Freed out.